one?
Yeah.
All right.
Right.
Yeah. So let me share. Let me get it up here.
All right. Is that it?
I'll blow this one up.
Yeah, they get a little larger.
Wow. Someone's there. Beautiful.
All right. So I have annotations and stuff. Where are those?
Yeah, you up at the top, I think you can, there's.
Okay. And annotate. There you go. Got my tools. All right, good. So I can scribble. Okay. Yes. We got this is a lovely black and white, great rendition of tonal values, shadows, highlights, nicely done black and white. We got a nice composition. Let me see, got my tool here. There is a diagonal here going here. Let me see if that's not really working. Yeah. Let's see. Anyway, so let me see here. First of all, I'm going to let's see the colors. All right. Anyway, so you can't really see my annotations, but I'm there. You got a diagonal there, and going from the lower left, the lower right to the upper kind of the upper left. I love what's going on in the background on this hillside. You've got some sunlight hitting that hillside. I really like that. The downside is I've got this car in this kind of this fencing, and the car is kind of obstructing that view of that beautiful hillside with the the mountainside. If you see the sunlight just hitting that hillside, it's really pretty. But we've got this car thing in right in front of it, and that would be that's what I see right away. I just want to see more of that beautiful hillside. But it's a good composition. There is you've got some nice horizontal and diagonals, and it's kind of nicely balanced. That the rocks in the lower right really kind of balance it. Without those, it would be kind of off balance. So you've got these rocks here really balance the image. Really, again, those clouds and everything, you've got a beautiful tonality of the the gray tones. Lovely, just a nice balance of lights and shadows, really balanced, which is when you have a good black and white, you should have a lot of great balance of light and tones. Yeah, it's really nice. This tower here kind of adds to the composition, kind of creates a balance there. But overall, it's a nice shot. Again, I might have moved around and tried to get that beautiful hillside with that light. I'm just intrigued. I want to see more of that. That would be my only critique of it. Otherwise, it's a nice composition.
And that's Daniel Harrington, and he's not here. Okay,
Okay.
he's the one that's not here. This is Church.
Okay. Now, if anybody wants to, talk and have their own suggestions, you can chime in. This one, it's a lovely scene. It's fall. It's colorful. You got the sun coming through the trees. It's got a nice feel. Those are all positives. From a technical standpoint, in the notes, I saw that it was taken with a phone. So you're having little technical issues with the clouds, and some of these trees are kind of blown out. There's not a lot of detail. It's kind of looks funky a little bit because it's a phone shot, and you're dealing with a very small sensor, so the image quality isn't quite there. But the colors really it's a nice feel. The compositionally, what you've got is you got this empty space right here. It's right in dead in the center, and you've got this. It's framed nicely. You've got the framing of the tree and this church right here on the side. But the church on the side is actually adding as a frame, so it's not really the subject. It's off to the left side, which is it's not the subject. It's off to the side, and where your eye is going is right to the center, and there's nothing there. There's really not. There's just those clouds there, and that's where my eye lands in the image. So I like the sun coming through the leaves is really nice. I want more of that. But I want to see the church more. If it's an image of the church, I want the church more in the center of the image. And maybe you could have moved around and maybe framed the church with these trees here. It probably would have been hard to get the sun in the picture if you tried to frame it, but it would still have been a good image, even though you didn't get that highlight of the sun in the image. If you framed the church with the tree and tried to make the church the subject. Right now, there's really no subject. You got this dead space in the middle. So it's not a really great composition from that standpoint.
And as you can tell by the watermark, it was Nancy Helms.
Yep. That's it.
This is Fall Textures and Colors.
All right. This one, it's interesting. There's a bit of an abstract quality to this one. It is, if you take it from an abstract standpoint, you've got an image, you've got a diagonal going from, you've got this diagonal going on, and you do have the texture of, I guess that, I'm not sure what that is. It might be, I'm not sure what that is. That's, I'm trying to think, maybe it's growth on a log or something. I'm not sure, on a tree. Anyway, other than that, it's not a great image. I don't really know where my eye is going. What am I supposed to look at? It's just two halves. You got the trees here, you got this. It's a contrast of the color here and then this gray. But I don't know where I'm going. I look at it and where's my eye going here? What is the subject? What am I really? It's just not a it's not a great image from compositional standpoint. If you really wanted to bring out that texture, you would have filled the frame with the texture. Cutting in half with the leaves in there and having this on the corner it just doesn't work as an image at all. and to be honest, so I'm not sure what the intentions are there, or the compositional. There's no composition really. So that's my
and I want to see more on of what.
Yeah, right. I was saying, if you're going to make this texture the subject, then I want to see the whole texture. I don't want to see these leaves. It doesn't really matter to me.
And so, that's Heidi Nunley.
Okay, there we go, Heidi.
Having fun.
Okay, great. Well, this is a fun shot. It's a great shot. Kids playing ball. The good part about this, it technically well done. You got a fast shutter speed. There's no blur, which is good. It's anybody doing sports, you cannot have any blur of even the fingers. It's really important that you get everything sharp, and so you need a very high shutter speed when you're doing any kind of sports to make a good shot. And this does all of that. There's no blur. You got to capture the moment here. From a compositional standpoint, you have a rectangle, a triangle here. You go from the ball to the face, back to this kid. You've got this nice triangular motion. It does kind of bounce off this girl's face, so you've got this nice triangular thing going on. Compositionally, that works because your eye's moving around. One of the cool things about composition is what makes an image. It makes an image interesting because your eyes are constantly moving across the image. When you have a good composition, it's interesting. It draws you in because your eyes are moving around. If your eyes aren't moving around in an image, you've lost the viewer, and it's a sign of a bad composition. So that's why you want to have a good composition. You want to have the person, you want to engage the viewer, and you want to have that eye moving around. That's what this does in that motion. You know, you got the boy on the right here, and your eye immediately goes off to the boy on the left, and then down to the ball. And you got some motion there, you got some action, you got the expression of this boy, which is kind of fun. He's got his mouth open. It's kind of fun. And yeah, nice composition. And then you got the leg and the boy here on the far right. He's leaning in, which pushes you into the image. He's not leaning out of the image, he's leaning into the image, which leads you into this boy's face, which is really the subject of the photograph. His face and his moment where he's about to kick the ball. So it's well done. I like it. Good composition, nice capture. I don't have too many negatives on this one. You've got some light highlights here, but that's hard to avoid with the contrast. So yeah, good image.
So Robert,
yes,
this is Dave Seibert. That's my
yes.
photo. You identified things that I had no idea that were positive about it. So thank you.
Yeah.
But one of the reasons why I submitted this photo
yeah.
is I was wondering if you had a way to help resolve the issue. As you can see, the light on the back of the kid in the grayish shirt, the sunshine was. I was almost shooting into the sunshine.
I noticed that, and I did mention that you've got a contrasty scene, which means you can have these bright highlights.
Right. So, and in this particular game, I couldn't get in a different position. Is there a way to try to help minimize that with equipment or post-processing, or
you can do it with post-processing. You can pull your highlights way down. You might get some of the detail back into those highlights in post. It is a little bit on the cool side, so the flesh tones could have been warmed up a bit. But yeah, those highlights, especially on the boy on the right, his face is kind of blown out on the side there. But yeah, the only way to do that in post, I don't know what kind of raw processing you've got going on, but you could have really pulled down the highlights and gotten some detail in those, you know, and there's a highlight tool, you know, a measure, a lever, and just pulled in the highlights as much as possible. Or you could have just darkened it overall a bit, which might have helped you with the highlights.
Okay.
But it is a bit bright, so just a tad bright. Doesn't need to be this bright. You could have pulled down the brightness on it. It doesn't need to be as bright. So that's kind of adding to your highlights.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the story is I got recruited, I guess is the word I'll use, to do some high school field hockey photography. And when I was showing some of the photos to my buddy, he goes, "Hey, could you come take pictures of my grandson's soccer game?"
Oh, wow, nice.
So this is my first foray into trying to do little kid stuff. And it's kind of interesting because, as you well know, they don't pose for you and they don't really do very many good things.
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
Well, you captured a good moment there, which is hard for, you know, it's not easy to do. I mean, it's about to kick the ball. He's got that moment there. You can see it in his face. He's just about to do something, and the cool part about it is it holds you there. You know, it's a moment that you captured that kind of holds you there, which is cool. I noticed that there's something right behind his mouth, which kind of, I guess there's a person behind that.
There's another player there.
Yeah, and it kind of it destroys the outline of his mouth. So, I mean, you could go in and try to do something with that, but you know, I mean, it's a lot of work.
One suggestion I have, one thing that to me that I don't know, my eye keeps going to it. It's a little distracted.
Oh, I was going to
These
say
two
those
kids over here, if they
Yeah.
were looking at the game, at these
Right.
leaders, it would be different. But with them looking off to the side, it's like, there's something, the game is boring or something to them.
Yeah, that's a
But
bit distracting.
yeah, and so I would take those two out.
You could do that with content aware. You could just
Right,
take
yeah.
those out real simple and they'd be gone, and it would make a more impactful image. Yeah, you're right. I was going to say that, but I didn't. You've got a moment there. It's not that bad, but they are there and they're bright. They're like bright against the dark, so you
Right,
can't help
and they're not looking at the game. They're looking
right.
off
You're
to the
not
side.
looking at the game, so it's adding. It's a bit of a distraction.
Right.
Yeah. In sports, I try when
Yeah.
you're capturing sports. It's I don't know how much work you want to go in with the image. Cloning out people and stuff like that. That gets into now you're removing the element of the capturing the moment. So I would, I probably would have, taken them out with content aware. It would have been real simple, just to make the image a little simpler. But then it's not what was there.
Right.
You captured
Sure.
what was there.
Sure.
So
All right, thanks.
This is Rio Grande Gorge in New Mexico.
okay. Well, yes. This is a square image. I do like square. I like when people try to do square. It's an interesting. It's tough to compose in square. So when people do it successfully, it can really work. But this one does not work as a square for me anyway. You've got the image is kind of divided in half by the river. There's nothing drawing me. There's no leading lines. There's no compositional pull to the image. It's kind of, you've got a lot of texture going on, which is interesting. I like the texture, but it's not, what would make this better if you had at a different time of day when the light was striking the rocks and you've got these deep shadows and highlights, but it's kind of boring. There's not a lot of highlight shadow. It's kind of more of the same. So it's not working compositionally, and it's not pulling me in. It's just kind of boring. It's kind of one-dimensional in a sense. What would make it better is not going square. Would be cropping it right from the bottom to the top. Let me see. I wish I could make that bigger. Is there a bigger pen? Anyway, cropping it right about here. So when you make it a vertical, let me see, what can I do here? Let me see, I can do this, maybe. Fill it.
I don't think I can do anything with it either.
Okay, yeah. I just want to try to, if I could fill that box with color, that would be cool. Let me see. I don't know how I could do that. No, it's just the lines. Anyway, let me see. Here we go. The white. This right here. Now you got the white box. So, here, let's erase that. Here are my drawings. Here's your image. This would make it better. Make it vertical. You see that? That makes it better because now it's got a little bit more energy. You're drawn by that river. Your eyes are focused on that river. When it's cropped like that, it gives it a little bit more energy. Having all this texture over here doesn't really add to the image. It's kind of makes it a little bit boring. So when you crop it like that, then you have now you're seeing this dramatic river here that is really emphasized in the image, and it makes it more interesting. So other than that, I would also increase the saturation a little bit. You got some greens that could be brought up to give it some color. So other than that, it's very sharp, nice sharp image. So
that was Sandy Little.
All right. Thank you.
And you want to clear the box out?
Yeah, I got it.
Hey, can I ask a question about
Oh, sure.
that photo
Sure.
first?
Yeah.
I'm curious if it was taken in landscape mode or portrait mode when it was taken.
Well, yeah, my recommendation would have been portrait. Yeah, but
Exactly. Right.
so
Yeah.
because just to emphasize that river, I guess it was landscape because they went with the square. So that's my guess.
Let me.
I'm not sure.
Thank you.
I'll check on that later. I
Yeah.
maybe tell by looking at the EXIF data.
Yeah.
It was landscape or portrait. Let me
All right.
this one a little bit. This is untitled.
All right. So this is a lovely image of the cotton fields. Really nice. Got good exposure. You got lots of detail in the shadows and highlights. Technically, it's really nice, sharp, all around. What I let me see what I can say about this. This is a lighthouse, I guess. That's a lighthouse. So I want to move this lighthouse over. I want to get more image over here. No, I can't really do that with this. No arrow tool. Arrow tool. Oh, no, that's not it. Let me see. Let's try this. So I'm trying to. Oh, that's weird. I'm just getting used to these annotations. What I want to do is, if I could, just a smidgen, I want to move the camera to the left a little bit because you don't have a lot going on over here. It's kind of dead space. And I want to see more of this going on here. I want to see what's outside here. You got this building over here. This is more interesting than over here. So what I would do is maybe crop it like something like this, so that that lighthouse is a little bit more to the rule of thirds. I would have moved the camera over like that. Can you see that? And maybe got a little bit more over here and put that tower off to the, just a little bit more. That way you would have a little bit more composition going through. You see that? Then your eye would have gone. You have it's really important to have triangles in your image. When you have triangles in the image, it's a nice composition, and you would have something going on there. But I'm not interested in anything over here. This is kind of dead space. So I would move the camera over just a little bit to get more of this building, more of this area to the left, and that would have been a better composition. The tower is just a bit too centered for me, but other than that, it's a nice image. It's a nice shot. It's a nice, pleasant image.
That's Jerry Posna.
All right.
Summer retreats.
All right. This is a great image. Can you shrink it down a little bit?
No. No.
All right. Oh, okay. Anyway, it's still in the whole frame here.
Yeah.
So I can't really. Let me see. I got to move things around here. All right. I'll move stuff around. Oh, I put that at the bottom. Okay. So this is it's a great image. The great thing about it is it's a compositional technique called repetition, and it's very effective. You got these houses, these 4 houses. It's boom, 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 and then you have this little boat on the right side, just kind of as a punctuation, really adding to this nice composition. There's something about having repetitive forms that's it's a nice compositional technique. It's also broken up by these boats. Break up that repetition. You want to have, if you're going to have repetition, you want to break it up, and so you have these little boats kind of break it up. Really, really nicely done. Nice capture. I know you saw that. It's really, really nicely done. The one thing I might have, I like the color too. I mean, you got the red against the greens, and you got that contrast in color, and You got those orange floaters on the boats, on the blue boats. So there's some nice color working for you in this image. My only thought, this is just my 2 cents on it. The distance between the top of the roof and the border here, I wanted that the same between the top of the roof on the bottom. So you've got a little bit more on the bottom than you need. You could just crop that off, trim that down a little bit so that the roof of the house on the top is the same distance as the roof reflection. Yeah, I just want to mention, I the reflections are great too. That really makes the shot lovely reflections that work too. But if you really want to make the image kind of better, I would just trim off just a little bit off the bottom. It would give it a longer shot and give it a little more energy. I hope you can see that. But that's my, there we go. Move that out of there. Yeah, so I made this line here. I'm just trimming off the bottom just a bit because there's a little bit too much on the bottom. That's all.
That's
Anyway, great shot.
it's been kept.
Okay, great. Good job. We'll get rid of those stuff.
Autumn in New York.
All right. So this is another one of those shots that has a lovely feel. It's beautiful colors. You got the pool. You know, I feel it when I see this. I'm transported. I mean, I'm just transported to this place. A lovely feel on an image. So it's got a good composition. You've got it again, triangle composition. So this is how my eye is doing this. That's where I'm going with my eye. A beautiful reflection of the tree. Triangular composition. You've got that going. Nice reflection of the bridge and the water. It's cut right in half, kind of that symmetry kind of going on, horizontal symmetry kind of thing, which is nice for reflections. Color's nice. What I want to see is maybe just a little bit more detail in the shadows. It's kind of blocked up here. I'm not seeing enough detail in the shadows. I don't know how much you could have done there. Brought that out a little bit just so I can see a little bit more image, make it more interesting because the bridge is kind of fading into this little island here, and I'm not seeing the definition between the image. It's kind of getting lost. You know, this is kind of getting lost in here. So it's leaving me with a kind of a dead spot. This is kind of a dead spot here. I'm not sure what's going on there. It's dead, it's dark, and I want to see more detail in that spot there. Other than that, you got the beautiful sky here, lovely colors. This is just an aside because I do this a lot. I say this a lot. If you had somebody with you, and it's nice to take a spouse with you or something, is to have somebody stand on the bridge. I know if you can't do that, that's fine. It's just something that would add a little bit life to the image, a story, which I like to do. If you had someone fishing off the bridge, it would have added a nice story. That's just something that could have been done. Just have someone. It would add compositional. Your eye would have gone right to the person, and it would add a story, commentary, and made the image really nice. I also like this tree here too. It balances it. You know, you see that, how it balances? Without that tree, it would be off balance. It adds balance to the image. You see this going on. That's how I'm going. But again, there's got this dead space here, which I want to see more detail there. But that would have been, all of that would have been, if you had a person standing here, maybe a fisherman. Standing there would have given meaning and, would have a nice story. But anyway, technically it's we got not very sharp. Sky detail, colors are nice. So that's my critique.
And that was mine.
Oh, wow. Good. Very good.
Captured.
All right. Another kind of square image. This is great. I love the expression on these two people's faces. You've got this nice expression and this woman in the background, and you got the ball. You captured the ball in the net. Very, very nice. The emotion, you can see the muscles. Great capture from that standpoint. Fast shutter speed, which is important for sports. Then you have this person in the background creating this triangle, which is important in composition. See that composition? That's what's making the image, is that composition. It's moving your eye around the image. That's draws you in a little bit. My only thoughts on this image is it's a little bit over too far to the right. I want to see more over here. Let me see. I want to crop it like this. I want to go outside and I want to get more. See that? I want to center those people more. If there's if that's the edge of the frame, there's not much you can do about it. But if you crop this off, if you crop the right image off, that was not the best decision, unless there was something distracting over here. Because I want to put these people in the center of the image. I want to put them more in the center because they're the subject. This is nice over here, but it's not the subject. So this can be way off to the edge. Doesn't need to be in the center. You know, you don't need this space over here. This is not necessary. But you do need this. You need this space here because this would center the image. You see what I mean? Good. I mean, if this is the edge of the frame, then that's it. Which I'm guessing it is because you cropped it off here. Yeah, I want to move that in. I want to move the image over to the right. That would be my critique on it. Other than that, this is really, really well done. Very sharp, good shutter speed, nice capture right there. That's really the image. And it's just like I said, it's too far over to the right. So that's my critique.
And that was Ling Whitworth.
Okay.
Defending the goal. All
right. Now, this one, I love this image. This is fantastic. I really, really love this image. And the reason why, again, technically, you've got super fast shutter speed. You're capturing everything. There's no blur anywhere that I could see. I looked at the image. There's no blur. So you've got that shutter speed capturing every single movement. And the incredible part about this, the one thing I really love, is you've got this lovely triangular composition. Just phenomenal. And then you've got this woman down here. It's just she's adding to the composition because her arm is pointing toward the ball. And this leg over here is pointing toward the ball. So your eye is just going right to this ball right here. And then you've got the legs, and it's just, this composition is phenomenal. Look at, can you see that? It's beautiful triangular composition. It's like something out of a painting or something. It's so well done. You know, like a Baroque painting where they got all the arms and legs and everything's working together with the composition. There's no doubt that your eye ends up at that ball and right up there. It's really the crown of it. So yeah, really, really well done. I really can't say. And this person in the background, he's muted, faded down. He's not distracting. So that's important. I don't know if you toned it down, but if you did, that was a smart thing to do. Is that would have been distracting. But these are really, really, the arms and the legs. You got this, you know, you see that, the repetition with the legs, boom, 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 all in the same angle. And then this arm pointing toward the ball. And you get this arm. You see all that? It's really, really well done, even with this arm here pointing toward that ball. So really nice. Congrats. That's a good job.
That was Bill Worth.
Good job, Bill.
Hey, I have a question. It's a cool picture. I really love that
Yeah.
because I've tried doing some sports stuff. My question is,
Yeah.
how did you get down in that position of the field to be able to get that angle?
Yep, Bill can answer that.
I'm I'm standing behind the goal area somewhat, and it said University of Richmond. Obviously, you can see that, and they'll let you get on their field. They'll let you get you pretty close to the players, and of course, I'm seated. I'm sitting in a little stool so that I get that angle.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah,
And
that's the kind of stuff I've learned from watching YouTube. That's great. Yeah, thank you.
thank you, and thanks, Robert.
Yeah, it's a great shot.
Sorry,
All right.
I had to put the donut on my dog's
Yeah.
neck.
Well, then one more thing about that. I know it was done in bright sunlight. Your
Yeah,
highlights are not blown out. You know, to see that?
Yeah.
You've got detail in the highlights and detail in the shadows. So
Uh-huh.
technically, you did a nice job on post-processing.
thank
You
you.
know, it's and the flesh tones are really nice too. You got a nice warm flesh tone. So from the post-processing, you did a nice job on it.
Thank you. I appreciate your comments. You know, I didn't really realize the triangle aspect that you
Yeah.
pointed.
Oh, it's tremendous.
Yeah, I didn't realize it. I didn't
Yeah.
know enough to think of it that way. Thanks.
Welcome.
Old Barn Luray.
All right. This is a lovely scene. Lots of detail. I mean, very sharp overall. You can see the leaves and everything, the texture in the barn and everything. It's a good composition, very nice composition. Lots of lines, obviously, and you've got some repetition with the posts. So you've got these lines here, and then you've got this line here, and with this line of the roof line. You do have a little bit of a triangle going on that way, which is nice. Then you've got these lines leading your eye into the image. So there's lots of good linear things going on. Yeah, so this is your triangle. Boom, boom, boom. And that's where your eye is going. That's what your eye is doing. Then you have these posts, which are a repetition. Compositional elements which break it up a little bit. Boom, 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 boom. And it's a good composition. I like it. Beautiful detail in the trees. Nice. You brought all the leaves out. You know, you just got these lovely detail. And nice detail in the barn. It's a little bit flat. You know, there's not a lot of strong, but that's okay. And it's a kind of an it doesn't bother me. Nice color. My only suggestion, this is not even a I mean, it's not even a problem, but I want a horse right here. That's what I want. I want a horse or a pig or something in there, because that would just add, that would just like, okay, that's where my eye rests. My eye is supposed to go there at the horse, and boom, 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 done. And it would finish off the image. Without that element there, it's a nice scene, but it doesn't have much life to it, and just, especially a farm, you know, you're expecting some sort of animal in there. So I would have, I'm sure you couldn't do that at all, but it would have been really nice to have some sort of animal out in the pen there, because then that would, or even a farmer just kind of standing there with a blue shirt on or something. It would have been really nice. That would have just finished off the image, you know, perfectly. So, but otherwise, it's a nicely composed. You did nice job composing that.
I make a couple of comments.
Oh yeah, sure.
The one thing that struck me was the odd color in the sky.
Is this a bit green? It is a bit green. I
Yeah.
think, yeah, it's a bluish green. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that caught my eye also.
Yeah.
And the second thing was the edges of the trees there seems to have been, seems to be a little bit, it seems blended in with some neutral density filter.
The sky may have been replaced in it. That may be
Oh,
I don't,
by the edges of the leaves. It could be that.
not replaced. I think ND filter, I think they've used an ND filter that's,
oh, I see. Well, it's yeah, I see that. I think the blue is a kind of a greenish blue, and I noticed that too. I wasn't going to say anything. It doesn't bother me, honestly, because there's so much of this image here. The sky doesn't really bother me. Painters sometimes paint skies with a little bit of bluish green in it. It doesn't really bother, and it's not pronounced. I like the warm color of the wood, and that's probably why the sky is a bit green, because they added so much yellow to get this wood to come out as warm, which I like. I mean, I like the wood, the barn a little bit on the warm side. I mean, you could have played around with the color on it, and gotten that blue sky, and then the barn would have been very gray. And the grass would not have been as bright green. I mean, there's a lot of ways you could have post-processed this image,
Right.
and the way they selected doesn't bother me. I like the warmer tones to it.
Cotton fields.
All right. Okay. This is another. I love it. Beautiful cotton field. Nice composition. It's that dramatic sky is nice in the background. The foreground with the cotton field, it's beautiful. I like the fact that the house is white because it adds to the white cotton, and you got this white house here with all this white cotton, and a really nice nice image. Again, you have nice thing going on here, kind of a triangular thing going on with the house and this house in the background, and it's well composed. You position the house off to the right with this tree. I mean, I see this tree going on, this kind of composition there. So there is some compositional elements in there. It is cut in half by the you can see that, which isn't bad. I mean, the foreground is really pretty with the cotton. It is one critique is the fact that it is it's cut in half. You should never cut an image in half, and you've cut the image in half with the foreground and upper ground. I want to see a tad more sky, and maybe just a little tad more sky, maybe the tops of these trees. But other than that, it's nice. I don't need to see so much of this at the bottom. You could have moved up a little bit on the image and still gotten the same. It is a bit foreground heavy in that sense. You cut it right across the middle there, which is compositionally not the best thing to do on a horizon, is to cut it right through the middle. But other than that, I like the image. I mean, I really, it's a nice shot. I love the cotton fields. And well composed. You've got the house and the little shed in the back, creating a nice composition.
Yeah, I have a nitpicky question.
Okay.
Should there have been any attempt to remove that utility pole? To me,
I
that's
see
kind of
that.
distracting.
I don't see it distracting me.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not distracting to me. This area here is kind of dead anyway, so having that there gives it a little bit of life.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, as you removed it, you might, yeah, it is kind of a dead area on the left. So having that there is kind of adding a little bit of detail to it.
Hey, Bob,
Yes.
if I had deleted that dead space, I would have deleted the sky.
Oh yeah, right. And no, I'm not saying that that's wrong. It's actually a nice composition because you have the. I'm glad you don't have the house in the middle of the image because then it would be a static composition if you did that. So I'm glad you have it over to the right a little bit, and it's okay to have a little bit of dead space as long as you've got a strong composition. Sometimes you need a little balance like that. So no, my biggest thought is that the horizon's cutting right through the image in the middle. Yeah, if you did something like that and a little more tops, yeah, then you have a little bit more of a composition, more, uh, yeah, something like that. Yeah, see that? That's probably kind of what I was thinking. So just so that this horizon's not cutting right through the center. Let me go to my box tool and I'll show you. If I go like this, the box tool, and if you got more trees, there's the outside. So just a little bit higher, just to lower that horizon down a little bit, and yeah, just so it's not right through the middle, because it's cutting. Whenever you have something going right through the image, it cuts it in half. So just a thought.
Thank you.
But otherwise, it's a great image. I like it. I mean, as is, it works. I'm just adding those little thoughts.
That tree.
Okay. All right. Now this is I love this the burst of the sun in that. Really, really nice. Very strong in these branches moving up. Really, really nice. Got these branches against the yellow leaves. Just flowing upward. Beautifully done. And then you go down here, you see these roots. It's a lovely tree. And then you've got all these trees going like this, and that's leading you into the image. It's not pulling you out. They're leading you into the image, which is nice. It's leading you into this beautiful image here, which is really the focus of the image. Nicely done. My biggest problem is a technical one. The flare. The flare ruins the image. Honestly, it just ruins the image. All this flare. I know there's not much you can do about that, but it ruins the image for me because it's taking your eye off of the beautiful tree. If there's some way to get rid of that flare. I know that you could probably spend a lot of time trying to do that, but that would improve it tremendously if you could get rid of that flare.
What causes the flare?
Your lens, your refraction on the lens. What would help with that is a lens shade. That would help that a little bit.
Does a polarizer reduce that?
It might do that. I'm not sure it would. Anytime you add more glass to you got more bouncy light. So yeah, it's caused by the light bouncing around in your lens, and when you have too much light.
Say something about this one.
Yeah.
This is my image, but
Oh yeah.
I actually did try to remove the flare, but
Oh yeah.
it did not look really good when I did it. So I may still play with it a little bit, but this tree is really difficult to photograph.
I know it's hard.
So
I've done it. I've had images where the flare was in it and there's nothing I could do with it. You can work with the hue saturation and select the color and pull it. You can go right into what I've done when I zoom right into the very pixels and I select the colors like the purple or the greens, and I select those colors, just those little pixels of color, and I pull the saturation down, and it gets rid of the flare.
Okay,
because they're very unique, bright colors that are not in the rest of the image. So if you select just that color, you might be able to pull out the flare.
Yeah, and I don't know if the person uses Lightroom. They have that new color select capability with masking. You could do that very thing you're talking about.
Yeah. So yeah, because they're bright colors and they're not in the rest of the image. So if you can just select those colors, desaturate it, you might get away with taking out that blur.
Thank you.
Yeah, but otherwise it's a lovely shot. I love the concept. You've got some beautiful light, especially down here at the roots. You got that burst of light there, the roots and the, you know, I like your eye. Your eye saw that tree and the sun, and that's what I like about it. You saw this beautiful thing and you captured it.
And the starburst on the sun.
Yeah, this, and you use what's the aperture on that? Probably used a pretty high aperture, you know, small aperture to get that burst.
This doesn't. I don't.
That doesn't have it.
The EXIF data didn't come.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it, you know, to get that kind of burst, you probably use this.
It was yeah, I did that to get the burst.
Yeah, to get that burst, use it like a F11 or something.
Yeah.
Nice, very nicely done.
Autumn at Maymont.
All right. Again, we got a nice reflection, symmetry reflection here. This works. I like it a lot. Great colors. I don't know what I can really say. In this case, I know I just said this about this works, having this divided, because it's such a nice reflection. I really like it. You've got just a repeated image from top to bottom. The only thing I can say is I want more detail. You got some shadowy areas here. I want to bring out some of that. And you've got brightness here, which is pulling my eye. The only reason I say that is because it's pulling my eye over here. That your eye is always led to the brightest area. And if your brightest area is at the edges of the image, your eye is going to be led off your subject. And that's what's happening here. So I'm not looking at the little, whatever it is, the gazebo. I'm being pulled over here where the brighter areas are. And you could probably, there's not much you can do because that's the way the light was. I mean, the light was there. It wasn't striking the little gazebo there. It was in the background, but you could tone it down a bit on the upper left and pulled more highlights, tried to pull it up more detail in the center.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Is this been turned upside down? Because this looks like ripples in the water here.
No.
Oh. Interesting.
No.
That does look more detail on the bottom.
Yeah, and then the tree is brighter here than it is.
You're right.
Here.
No. It was
Oh,
just the
that's funny.
perspective. I think the ripple looking thing up in the left is actually some sort of a pine branch that's
Oh no,
maybe
he's
not
right.
even.
No, Kemp is right.
Yeah,
It's
that looks
upside
like
down.
that's water.
Kemp is right. It's
Water.
upside down.
Oh my gosh, maybe I did flip it. I didn't.
You did flip it upside down.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't look at it that closely, but I did notice the tree at the bottom had more detail. Can we flip that upside down? Is it possible?
I can't believe I did that.
Yes. Well, you got so much detail there. It's easy to do. Can we do that? That would be very cool.
Is
Really interesting. The drop down. Camp color.
yeah, that should be. But the whole thing is my tools.
I didn't even look
my
at that.
Zoom tools are covering the tool.
Yeah.
With the thing. So I was trying to see if I could. There's just an edit.
Yeah.
I don't see a.
Why do I see something at the very top of the screen that looks like a circle with an
Yeah,
arrow?
that's the pool of water. That's the ripples of water.
No.
Oh.
At the very top of my screen,
Oh,
I see looks like a delete button, and to the left
Oh.
of that looks like a.
Well, I've got. Let me see if I can move my tool.
Oh, those
here we
tools.
go.
Oh,
There
this.
we go.
Maybe this one.
This
This one right here.
rotate.
Yeah.
Yep.
There
Can
we
we do
go.
that? Yeah, there. Do it again. There it is. There's your image.
My gosh, I didn't even realize I had done that.
Oh, I didn't even see that, and I just was like passing you through it, and that's much better. That's great.
Oh, how funny.
That is funny. I didn't spend that much. Okay, that's very cool.
And I didn't notice it until you mentioned the fact that this was brighter.
Yeah, this is really
there.
It's still
and then
too
I noticed
bright.
that it looks, that I could see these ripples in here.
Yeah, you got the ripples there, which are still too bright, which it could be toned down a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's much better. Now I see the gazebo there is much brighter and more detail, and it makes a better image. This is nicer, more detail there.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. They're good. Yeah, that makes the image better. Yeah, but still, this is too bright. My eye's going off here. That's where my eye's ending up. Lower right.
Well,
it's so
I
bright,
actually
it's
was
distracting.
fortunate to get this photo because I volunteer at Maymont, and
really?
I can get in there at 8 a.m.
Oh wow.
So the sun's not even very high in the sky yet, and it's still so bright.
Well, it's a nice. The backlit of the trees is nice. But I would go back there and try to get this shot again with light hitting the gazebo. So
too late now; it's gone.
I know it's all the
leaves are
colors are
gone.
gone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, maybe there you go. We got notes. You do it another time.
Yeah.
Next fall.
I can't believe I had it upside down.
That's
too
really funny. I knew there was something up with that, and I was like, "Why?"
Well,
is
and
this?
you can see leaves here
Yeah.
too. There's floating leaves.
Yeah, you can see
On
that.
top
And
of
I
the
said,
water.
this, I kind of in the back of my head, I said, the top of that is not really in focus. And it's just, I never assumed it was upside down. That's a good one. But it looks better this way now.
Robert,
Yes.
they say that if you want to check your composition, flip your image upside down.
Ah. Yep.
And that'll give you somewhat of a better idea. Maybe this person flipped the image upside down and then forgot all about it.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
True.
All right. This is Pueblo Village in Taos, New Mexico.
All right. Nice. I love the sky, love the clouds. Technically, you've got lots of shadow, beautiful detail, nothing blown out in the clouds. Really, really nicely job, and very neutral clouds too, which means your color balance is dead on. So which is very, very good. Great image. You do have your triangle going on here, and this is kind of a anchor here. It's well balanced from that standpoint of compositional, and it kind of you've got this going on in the mountains too, so it kind of reflects the mountains in a compositional sense. Repetitive. This line is the same as this line, is the same as this line. So in that sense, you've got some nice composition going on here. I've actually been to this thing. The only problem that I'm finding is the background is brighter than the foreground, and the foreground is the subject. This is the subject here, and this is in shadow, and the light is in the background. That's where the light is. So my eye, being what it is going to be drawn to the lighter area. It's drawn to the mountains. It's not drawn to the buildings. So it's nice a composition as it is. Also, I might have pulled back a little bit. I mean, you've got the buildings going right off to the edges of it. Whenever you do architecture, it's not always good to have part of the building off the image. Anyway, but if you couldn't do that, I understand. It's still not a bad image. But the biggest thing that I have about this is that the foreground is in shadow. You can see that clearly. So it's kind of muted. It's kind of boring. It's not catching my eye. Nothing in here is really catching. You got some nice color with the doors, and then this yellow thing here with the blue doors, which is nice. You always color's nice, but I would have waited to another time if you could, waited till the sun came out of the clouds, and so that because this is an adobe structure, and when the sun hits it, You get this beautiful texture and very strong highlights and shadows. And it's a beautiful building, but it's beautiful when the sun hits it. It just adds these beautiful dimensional qualities, geometric qualities come out when the sun hits it. So I would have waited, if I could, for the sun to come out and hit that building.
I'm on a Zoom call.
Yes. What's that?
Okay, all right. Bye.
Okay. Yeah, I would have waited for the sun to come out and hit that building.
That was Sandy Little.
Oh, Sandy Little. Okay. Yeah.
Could I come in here?
Oh yeah, you can say whatever.
I used to live in New Mexico.
Oh yeah. Wow.
I was many times.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, as most of us know, the light in New Mexico is fascinating.
Yes, it's great.
Which is what took Georgia O'Keeffe over to
yes
towers, where
Ansel Adams too.
And standing here, I could probably take about 20 images of this particular building and the village. And there are some classic images that you can see with these doors and the windows and and against the blue skies and everything else. I'd love to go back there. I'd love to go back and spend at least a couple of hours in front of this building.
yes, it's just magnificent. I was there as well, and I love this image. I love this the place. You're right about the light. It's just fantastic. This very strong sunlight. But that's the thing. When I was there, back when I went there, they had this really strong sunlight, and this building was being hit by this sunlight, and there was all kinds of these shadows and textures, and it was just magnificent. So when I saw this, it was all in shadow. I said, oh, it's really kind of, it's well composed, but I'm just missing all that texture and shadow. And then my eyes being drawn to the mountains in the background because it's kind of like highlighted there. So that's my thoughts. Yeah, but you're right. It's a beautiful place.
Untitled.
Okay, I love this image. This image has what I call lots of energy. And the reason being is because of all these lines. Your eye is drawn right to the subject. There's no distraction. The dramatic, getting back to the previous image where everything was in shadow, this, because of the sunlight and the shadow and the lines, is very dynamic. It pulls you right in. And that's what's good. The sunlight is really pulling you into the subject, which is right here. This guy, he's fishing, and they're kind of silhouetted, which is great, just kind of a silhouette, a suggestion. And he's sitting there with his fishing pole, and he's got his truck in the back, and it's telling a story. And this is probably, I'm guessing it's probably early in the morning. You got the sun rising over here. It just works in a lot of ways. For me, the color too, this warm color is just magnificent. I really like the image. I don't have a lot critical on it because I just love the power of it. It is a bit top heavy. I will let me see here. Let me see if I can go like this. A little bit better. Maybe not so much there. If I cropped it like that, it might be a little bit better. But I really like it. Because of this over here is a little too bright. It's pulling me away from the subject. So I might crop it like that. That's a suggestion. It's not a rule. That would be a subjective suggestion. But that's a very powerful image. I don't get tired of looking at it. It's really powerful. Well done.
It's Jerry posting up.
All right, good job.
Observers observed.
All right. I saw this image. I love this image, and the reason why I love it is because of all the lines in the image. You've got this beautiful curve, shadow, going like this. And then you've got this curve going like this. And then you've got, you know, repeated by this curve here. And you got these lines here in the background. And that's kind of framing it a little bit. Then you have this person right here in the shadow. So you've got this triangular thing going on there. It's a great image. I mean, there's so much geometry. This line's here. Then this person's here. It's a lot of things going on. You got the texture of the bricks. You got that texture going on here. Nicely done in the shadow. Get the lines going in here. So a lot of lines of geometry and interesting things going on in this image. She's highlighted against the background, which is good. She's not in shadow, you know, which is good. So you can see her. I love the shadow here. Again, she's right in the middle of this thing with her selfie, I guess, doing a selfie. The only thing is that she's right on top. This is not great compositionally. If she was a little bit over here or something, it might have added a little bit more of a triangular thing going on. You see what I mean? She's right on top, which is, you know, not the best. I mean, it's not terrible, but not the best. The good thing is she's separated. Her shadow is separated from the subject, so it's not a terrible thing. But it would have been nicer if she was just a little off, not so much on top. You know, they're stacked. The two people are stacked. But I know that it's still a good capture. I'm thinking it's a little bit not. It's crooked. I'm thinking the image, it's kind of crooked. I think it's tilted. I'm guessing it's tilted. It feels like it's tilted. Maybe that's just my impression, but I feel that the image is a little bit tilted. But it's not terrible. It's a nice black and white, got shadow detail, highlight detail, nice gray tones. Again, it's a strong graphic elements. And like I said, the only bad thing is the women are stacked. And that's kind of a distracting compositional thing. I'd like to have her standing over here somewhere. And that would have been created more of a triangular thing. A little bit more interesting composition.
And that's Venkat.
Okay, there you go.
Beached in Peggy's Cove.
Okay. I love this image. This image is absolutely fantastic. I mean, beautiful gray tones. I mean, just the tonality of this image is phenomenal. Kudos to someone who did the most, you know, the black and white rendering on it. It's really, really well done. Great composition. We got this boat, this old dinghy here, and you've got these repetition of these old houses and the houses up here. Really, really well thought out composition. Again, you got, you know, you do have your triangular thing going on. Nice composition. You always need a diagonal in an image. Diagonals are lovely in an image because it makes your eye move across the image. And that's what that boat does. It leads you in. Boom, right in to the image. And then your eye goes this way. So well composed. It's well balanced. You've got this wonderful boat at the bottom and then top. Notice how the horizon is in the upper. This is your horizon, kind of. It's in the upper portion. Not a lot of sky, which is good because you've got this wonderful foreground. You don't need that. Even the sky, the clouds, the rendering of the clouds are really nicely nice highlights in the clouds. Yeah, beautiful textures and the weeds and things. Very sharp. Love this image. It's really, really, really nicely done. Compositionally, A+ composition, really nicely done. The rocks. Look at the texture in the rocks there. Beautiful, sharp. I mean, it's sharp, right? It's got to be hugely, very small aperture, I'm sure, because everything's sharp focus. Just nicely done. Even this, the rocks kind of leading you in. Yeah, well done. Don't have any suggested things on it. It's really nicely done. I like it. Beautiful texture on the wood, texture on the rocks. It's everything a good black and white should be. Texture in the wood, nice clouds. Yep, good job. Yeah.
Thank you. That was mine. I do have a couple of questions.
Yes, sure.
And that is the sky that was there. That was, I
Yeah.
didn't do any sky replacement or anything.
That's nice.
Yeah. And I shared this the other day, and a couple of people had said something about the power lines, but I liked
power lines.
I liked the power lines.
I'm with you. The power lines don't bother me.
And because they're going to each one of these
exactly
connections on each of these buildings.
Yep, and they actually lead your eyes into the image. They don't lead your eyes out.
There was a guy wire that came down here that I did take this guy.
Oh, okay, that was smart.
It had a big white plastic, shield on the bottom part of it, and I did take it. Plus, I took out a pickup truck that was here.
Oh, you took out a pickup truck
and an SUV that was parked over here. I did have to take.
Oh my goodness.
Them out.
Oh, really? So you did some work on it?
Yeah.
Huh, good. What is this? Is this Maine?
Yeah. No, this is Nova Scotia.
Peggy's Nova Scotia. Okay, yeah.
It's out south of Halifax, Nova Scotia.
Okay. Well, it's nicely done.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All eyes on the ball.
All right, here we go. Another great sports shot. I think I love this woman right here. She's got this expression. She stands out against the dark background, and you can see that. My eye goes there immediately. The subject obviously is the ball over here. You've got this line, her leg, and her pole, and this is going on here to the ball. So nothing pulling me away from the image. Nice. That's hard to do in sports. There's a lot of times you capture something and there'd be maybe a leg or an arm that's kind of falling out of the image or just not. So this is a nice capture. You've got nothing's pulling me out of the image. Everything's working in, pulling me in to the image. So, you got some nice expressions. This expression here is good. Her expression. So, nice capture. Again, fast shutter speed. You got to have fast shutter speed for sports. Nice and sharp. That's a critical part of sports, is having a very, very high shutter speed to capture things. My only suggestion, this is my suggestion, is these women in the white on the left, they're not necessary for the composition. I would crop like this almost. There's your image right there. That's the image, because all the activity is with these people here. The women here are not adding to the image that much. They're kind of outside. They almost distract. It almost becomes off balance because you're so far over. The ball is so far over to the right that it's almost too much on the left. So if you can imagine that, that box is really the image there, is where all the activity is happening, and that's the composition works in that box there. So that's what I would do with that. That's my critique of it. Other than that, it's really nicely done. Nice capture.
That was Ling Whitworth.
All right.
Ball Frenzy.
Okay, this is a nice capture. Very good. Another sports. Got a lot of sports stuff here. This is good. Triangle. You see that? Triangle. That's what makes the composition work. You got lines here. Lines here leading to the ball. Lead your eye to the ball. This arm here. So there's his look. Everybody's got their eye on the ball. So your eye is being led right to that ball. So that's really nice. Nice capture. And again, nothing's leading me outside. See, look at the edges of the image. There's nothing on the edges of the image that's distracting or at all. You know, you got these people here, but they're muted. They don't pull me away at all. So that doesn't bother me. Kind of these people here. I don't know if you tone that down. If you did, that's a good idea. Just tone them away and get all the highlights on the players. It's a great capture because you've got the players. One is some of these guys are like suspended in air. This guy's suspended in air. Look at this guy on 1 foot, and he's like capturing that. I mean, it's really, really great capture of you know, athletics, and that ball is just the subject. It's like you can see the emotion in that. And this guy, look at this. I love this guy's face. He's looking up. So yeah, there's a lot there. I think it's really well done. Great capture. I don't have any critical thing to really say about it. Nice job with the highlights. Again, you don't have blown out highlights. Or, you know, shadows. Got some nice shadow detail. Yeah, the nice job. I would have maybe brightened it up a bit, but I think it's nice.
Hey, Robert, I'm
yes.
kind of curious. Your
Sure.
comment you made on the previous sports thing. If you took the two guys on the left out of the picture, does that improve compositionally?
No, it doesn't, because what you have is this beautiful triangle.
Oh, okay.
That triangle there. They add to the image. On the other image, they did not add anything at all. It just, in fact, it lengthened the image. It hindered the composition, having those three girls there.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. The ball was so far to the right. In this case, the ball is right here, which is you know, in a good spot.
I think so.
And that was Bill Whitworth.
All right.
And that was our last image.
Oh, that's the last one. Okay. Anybody have any questions? Any comments? Anyone input?
Thank you very much, Robert. That was a very, very good session critique, and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Okay.
All were spot on, and thank you.
Oh, well, I was impressed by the images, so good work.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you, Rob.
Thank you, Robert.
You're very welcome.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Thank you, Robert.
You're welcome.
And we will be doing this again in about 3 months or so. Sometime in the spring, we'll do this again.
Okay.
Look for this.
Sorry, thank you. Your job was more difficult than Robert's, I think.
Yes, I think so. Yeah, I couldn't do this without Kemp.
Yeah, I always learn a lot. I always learn a lot from these. Very good. Learn a lot.
And yeah, this is great because it's not just the critique of my images. I learn from the critiques of everybody else's too. That's the great thing about doing this, is seeing everybody else's and hearing the suggestions and so forth on all the images is really good.
Robert, could I ask you a question about the last one of Ling's that you evaluated? Or
yes.
Talking about taking those three ladies off of
yes.
When you made your cut, you severed the body.
Yeah, I would probably I noticed that too, but you probably want to get her out of there. You don't want to cut her face off or anything, like body parts or anything. So to try to crop it so that she's not in the image anymore. Not that one.
Yeah.
This one.
Yeah.
So you probably want to just kind of cut her so she's not, just so that, I mean, you can't take away the whatever
if you cropped it here,
right up and down through
you would have to then take out these other elements.
Maybe, it would be pretty easy to do.
The stick would be difficult to take out.
I would.
This would not be hard, and it would not be hard to take away either.
Yeah,
but the stick would be a little difficult to get this out of the.
I think you could leave that in because it just doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
But that would make your eye, your whole composition is on the girls on the left there. The three on the left are not adding to the energy of the image.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, agreed. But it's just the difficulty of
Perfect. I got it.
Yeah, but it would
Even more.
Yeah,
Like
kind of
it.
like that. A little bit more like that.
Yeah.
Somewhat. See, now you're seeing more energy.
Okay,
Much more.
thank you.
Yeah.
more intense.
Yeah. See, wow. Then it's like, whoa, look at that. See that?
Actually, this image is a problem image for today. I want to hear
Yeah,
from
no, I thank you for putting
Thank
in images that you have problems with. Because that makes it more interesting. I can actually critique it.
I think, okay, I got it.
Yep. There we go. Good job.
Send us your bill.
Very good. All right.
Thank you. Thank you,
See ya.
Bob.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
goodbye,
See ya.
everyone.
Bye.
Thank you, Cam.
Thanks.
Yeah,
You're welcome.
thanks, Kim.
Thanks, Cam.
Bye bye.